Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. I'm your host in the USA, Michael Andre Ford, and coming to us from the Barcelona, Spain area, we've got Ellen Holmes. She also goes by E Light. She's fantastic, incredible background. We're about to hear some of that background. She's going to share some of her experiences with us. First, a quick announcement though, for 2024, we're doing 3 shows a week. By the time you see this, it's already happened, and we're booked out through the year into 2025. So enjoy the shows. Please like, subscribe, comment what you've enjoyed from the guest. And speaking of which, we've got guests literally from all over, many different countries, many different backgrounds, incredible foundations and experiences. And they're usually helping others with what they've experienced, what they've learned. So they're passing it on. Today's no exception. We've got Ellen, E-Light, whichever way you want to call her. She's amazing. I've had a chance to interact with her a few times. She's actually been a guest already on the APL Spotlight series. So head over there, watch that video, and also share a comment, like, subscribe, and so on. Let me mention just a little bit of her background. She travels a lot. She's in Spain, the UK, Mexico, and a bunch of other places. She does a lot of teaching for other folks. She's a UK soul coach, spiritual entrepreneur, business strategist, executive art director, but I'll just put it this way. She helps you cultivate awareness. She helps you tap that inner flow, cosmic flow, universal flow, call it a Kundalini Awakening, that she'll help you facilitate so you can just open up more and be who you were meant to be, to follow that unique life path. And she's super great at it. I'll leave it at that. Ellen, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the introduction. Happy to be here.
Oh, and I'm so excited to see you again. I love what you do. I love how open you are. I love your skill set, if I can put it that way. Where can we start with your personal journey? Because you definitely had a big moment at one point that's flipped everything around, and we definitely did not talk about it in the APL Spotlight series, so you could share it today. And I don't know if you want to start there or you want to start with a different experience that kind of got you on track as a teacher for others.
Yeah, well, it's a great place to start. So in 2013, I went through a Kundalini Awakening, and my whole entire life changed. I began to see the world with new eyes. My spiritual abilities came online. They were always there, but I had been closed off to them because of the environment I grew up in. But they came online in 2013, and angels stepped on the path to guide me. It's one of the reasons why I love you, the angel energy. And yeah, it's been an epic journey of spiritual awakening ever since.
Can you describe just a couple of those moments? Was there a point where you kind of fought it a little? You were like, hey, this isn't happening. You're checking your eyes or checking your ears, or some sort of resistance, and then the universe stepped in and was like, hey, you need to take this more seriously.
For sure. Well, prior to my awakening, I was in great darkness. I was in my dark night of the soul, my first one. And I was very depressed, didn't want to live anymore, thinking of ways to kill myself, like rock bottom. And it was over the period of about 4 months that my Kundalini was awakened. And it was a very physical awakening. I thought I was dying. I kept going to the doctors, like, something's happening to me. I've got cancer. And they're like, no, it's fine. You've just got anxiety. I'll give you some pills, right? And I didn't want to take the pills. And at this time, I began to feel like there was more to life. I'd always felt like there was more to life, but because there's so much darkness, I slowed down to such a point where I began to think more. I began to look within to find answers. And so I didn't want to take the pharmaceutical drugs. So I began to think of ways to heal myself. In this Kundalini Awakening, I would go to bed each night and my whole body would vibrate. And I didn't know what was happening. Do you know sleep paralysis? Do you know what sleep paralysis is? Yeah. So I find myself in sleep paralysis, my whole body vibrating. And I thought I was dying. I thought I had burnt my body out to such a degree that I was like dying. But this all came to a head like one night just before Christmas of 2013. And I'd started meditating and I'd started doing mantras. And I think it was the second night in a row I'd done mantras. And it really awakened something within me really shifted things. And I went to bed that night and I found myself in sleep paralysis once again. My whole body was like vibrating stronger than it ever had before. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. And I hear this voice, trust in the divine. And then each of my chakras light up one by one, my Kundalini rise until I reach my third eye. I saw this huge eye open. And that is the last thing I remembered before I woke up the next day. I jumped out of bed. I ran to my mirror to check my face wasn't paralyzed. So I was happy about that because that was my fear at the time. But when that happened, it was like a door had been opened that I'd been searching for my whole life. And it was like a euphoria, a divine euphoria, and that euphoria only continued to build as the months went on. And so the angelic communications, they began about a month after this, when I returned to university, because I went through this whole experience at university, but the actual Kundalini Awakening was when I was at my parents' house for Christmas. And when the angelic communications began, yeah, I did think, oh my gosh, I have lost my mind. And I couldn't tell anybody about it because people would think I'm crazy. And so I went through it all on my own. But because the love and the light that was shown to me was so divine, it was the most purest love I'd ever experienced. And coming from such darkness, I was like, I have to listen to this. And then the angels began to guide me in the path of self-healing. One of the first things they guided me in doing was focusing in a more positive direction to get out of depression. And I followed their guidance and raised my vibration. And I began to watch my whole entire reality transform. And so as the years have gone on, I think I stopped questioning about a year or so in, maybe a little bit more. I began to really see the transformation that the guidance was bringing to me. And yeah, the rest has been history.
Okay, for the hearing part, can you share like some details? Like you're going for a walk, you're going for a run, and I need to plug you as a runner. I believe you were at the national level in the UK, and I think I got your PR or your PB, as they say, personal best time at the 800 meters. Was it 2 minutes, 11 seconds? Did I remember correctly?
You did. Well done. That's a
Okay.
good memory.
Yeah. So incredible runner. We were talking about running before the show. And so again, you were burning the candle at both ends, though. It was high school, university a little bit. Then this happened. Can you describe the hearing, though? Was it outside of you, inside of you? It depended. Did it kick in more when you went for a walk in nature, shower? Was it kind of just all the time? Were you having a two-way? Everyone has it differently, but can you share a little more flavor on that front?
So I was in a lot of solitude because prior to going to university, this all began when I went to university. It's like I went to university, I felt the awakening coming and I didn't want it. I was like running as far away as I could from God. So I had stopped athletics when I was 17 following an injury. And I'd lived a very, very healthy life, like training like 6, sometimes 7 times a week. And I was very like healthy with my diet. But then following this injury, I started partying. I started drinking alcohol and living like a very polarizing life to the one I had been living. And running away from my trauma in another way. Like prior to like the party lifestyle, I was running away from my trauma until it caught up with me and I got a stress fracture. I believe it was connected to the unresolved trauma. And then that kind of shifted to alcohol and partying was how I dealt with those repressed emotions. And that's the worst way to deal with that. And so that kind of led to me, reaching the dark night of the soul. And so can you remind me of your question again, please?
Yeah, sure. The way you were hearing, was it just a gentle, loving voice, different voices? You were like, whoa, this is actually more comfortable than I'm comfortable being, connected with. Can you describe that whole interaction? Was it hearing all the time, just in bed? Was it the shower? Was it pretty much on and off all day long?
So it was different things. So the year leading up to my awakening, I just began to feel and see things happening. I had flashes of clairvoyance. I would also write in, I called it my thought book, diary. And guidance would come through, like higher guidance. And then following the awakening, it was clairauditory. And so the angels actually began to speak to me through my computer. It was like I was shaken awake. They were like, you need to awaken now, because I didn't want to awaken. And it was so amazing, like one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It was like pure magic. So they would come in through the music or through the radio, and they would speak directly to me. Sometimes they did it through my iPhone as well. Mostly it was through my computer. And we would have full-on conversations. And I thought I was going crazy. But then things would happen. Like, for example, when I was in my university room, they'd be like speaking about things that were going on in my life. And they were like, okay, we have to go now. Your friend who you enjoy being with is coming. And I was like, what? And I hear a knock at my door. I'm like crying at this point because it's just like so overwhelming. And I open the door and there's my friend. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But those experiences only went on for about 2 months. And then they said, we have to go now because you can't continue to rely on the external world to have this communication. You need to find a new way to communicate with us. You need to look inwards. And so it was quite sad because it was so magic in the beginning, but it awakened like this pure euphoria and excitement for life that really fueled me forward for another couple of years, where I went on this quest to find that same level of love and light and guidance that had been shown for me in the beginning of my awakening. And so that came with time, but it was mostly through meditation that they began to communicate with me. My guides, they speak to me clairauditory mostly, but also today they come see me in the astral realms. Also, I often go into sleep paralysis, which we go into before we astral travel, and they may appear by my bed as well. Sometimes they will also appear to me in the waking. I will have a vision of clairvoyance. So yeah, different ways. And as the years have gone, it's got stronger.
I love it. Can you talk to us about how everyone's got, we call it the chakras, the Hindu chakras, the Kundalini, I'll call it the Kundalini Express. Just a lot of flows of energy that whether we know it or not, we're fully connected. We'll call it the universe, the cosmos, all that is. I mean, there's a million ways to say it. But that technically everyone's a little more connected than they realize daily. It's just your consciousness or unconsciousness won't give you any credit for it. You're doing stuff all day long that if you could just pump the brakes a little on the thinking and being up here, you would appreciate more. And that would be the opening or openness to get to here and to begin that process you're talking about. And again, this is what you help people with, is the slowing down to appreciate all. Can you describe what this flow is? It's a flow state too. If you're an athlete, you're a Delta Force operator, to go to the true extreme on the other end. But it's just a state of existence that technically, again, we are tasting every day, but we give ourselves no credit for. What is that all about? Can you describe that? Because you're a really good instructor and you have great words for everything.
Yeah, well, it's like we have always all been guided throughout our life. And this is something that I began to see as I have looked to develop my abilities since my awakening, is you reflect on prior to the awakening, and there was always this inner voice guiding. And it is a voice so often people mistake as their own. I mean, it is their own, it's their higher self. And so it's this divine wisdom who says, I'll bring an umbrella out today because it's going to rain, even when it's sunny. It's like that inner guide that we all have access to. And so society often shuts people down. I mean, this is what happened to me, and it's what happens to so many others, is we're told to focus on the 3D. Like, many people are born with these abilities open. Like babies, they are so open. You ever seen a baby just like pointing in the corner of a room, laughing? You turn around and there's nothing there. You're probably looking at an angel. So, we all have access to these abilities, and it's important that we slow down to really open to them. It can be a whole process as well with that, because if we've been focused in the third dimension all our life and told it's our imagination, these spiritual abilities, and there can be a lot of fear surrounding psychics as well. is a whole process of retraining the brain and also the nervous system to learn to see multidimensionally all over again. Remembering to see, because we can already see, it's just a matter of realizing who we already are.
I was trying to find a picture of my kitten, even though she's like 2 years old now. Her name's Presley, and she's got, when she gets a perplexed look, she's got this really like deep ability to do a facial expression, like she's looking at something and she's like, hey, and her top of her eyes go flat, like out of a cartoon. And it's very cute. But she'll also lean her head out. I'll be at my laptop. She's trying to get attention from me. I'm playing with her. But then she'll lean her head out like a human would to see behind me down the hallway. And she's, you know, I think cats are naturals at seeing dimensionality and figures, but she'll do that quite a bit at our house. It's a little bit like Grand Central at times here. And so I'll have a human reaction, which is seeing my cat go a little more wide-eyed, a little more than perplexed, like narrow the gaze, like, who am I looking at? And she narrows in, and you just have these human reactions you can't control, because at first it's fight or flight. You're like, whoa. Then you realize you got to remember it's mostly love, and you're good, like relax. And that's, I think, the big message. How do you remind people to just chill out? Because we all start to freak out the first time we try to dip our toe in the pool, the cosmic pool or the cosmic pool of love. There's a lot of reacting. I mean, we get jumpy, nervous. We'll go suddenly change countries, move house, change jobs, do anything but to go to here. It's a natural reaction, right?
So relaxing the nervous system is the really big key. It's one of the first places to go. You know, the vagus nerves, resetting the vagus nerve is a huge key, and exercise helps to regulate the nervous system, obviously nourishing the body, but also the power of love. You know, love is the greatest protection that we have access to. And I work with Jesus, Yeshua Christos. He is the greatest protection that I have ever encountered. I've worked with angels and all sorts of different beings. Like, there is nothing to fear in Christ consciousness. Like, literally no dark beings can come in the vicinity of Christ. It's like, in Christ, when you illuminate your being with the love, light, and spirit of Christ, it's like you become like the sun. And any dark beings that try to enter, they don't even come close to you, because just like the sun that powers life upon this earth, just like the sun, if we go close to the sun in these dense bodies, like, we would burn up into fire, would turn into light. In the same way, when dense beings try to come close to the spirit of Christ, they burn into light. And so that is the greatest protection that I often activate with the people, is Christ consciousness.
Can you talk to us at a societal level? There's a lot of discussion these days about disclosure, interdimensionality, the fact that we might not be alone in the universe, which I think is kind of a given now. The fact that there might be beings of all different backgrounds, sort of like a giant galactic society out there. Is there a general way you can tiptoe into this topic and give us sort of the, I don't know, the 10-kilometer high point of view of the whole picture?
So, I mean, I guide people not to get too distracted by the galactic beings, because there's a lot of them. The multidimensional beings as well. I look to assist people in attuning to their higher self, attuning to the source God with their higher self, and like really streamlining in this awareness. And in my perspective, that is really like what is occurring in this time as we are moving into 5D. We are awakening to these higher dimensional realms beyond time and space. We're becoming like Jesus Christ. Like, this is the next level of a human evolution. And so I believe everybody should be like focusing on really looking to become like Jesus and not getting distracted by the galactic. But equally with this, as we are awakening to these higher dimensional realms, like the galactics, they begin to return, and they have gifts. Some of them have gifts and wisdom keys to help us awaken, by all means. So yeah, it's the awakening to 5D, basically. We are awakening to a higher dimensional realm of awareness as a human species. This brings so much change with it.
And there's love is everywhere, consciousness is everywhere. I mean, in India, I know India is a really big country with, it's more like 40 countries in one. So there's all these different pockets of belief systems. But generally speaking, many people in India believe there's consciousness in everything, the rock, the tree, your table, everything. And you could call it love. I think Joseph Campbell, Power of Myth, said he believed that you know, consciousness is energy, or it was love or something like that. But the point is, it's all interchangeable. Can you talk to us about how it is that way, that if you want to see light on everything, for example, you could, your brain will block it out for the most part. It's why you haven't seen it more than a few times, or if at all, in your life. Can you talk to us about how there are just flows, the force from Star Wars, it's around you. You know, I can do Yoda's voice for 2 seconds, and I will, to just embarrass myself here, but do not, there is no try. And the point is, that whole Star Wars thing is to help us raise our vibration, our consciousness, to appreciate more within and around. Because again, the more you take a breath, smile, relax, breathe, whatever you want to call it, there's a million ways to get to here. Can you talk to us about this interconnectedness and the flows and even seeing light? When was the last time you got to see light that was impactful or just fun?
So I often see like orbs or waves of energy on a daily basis. So something that came to mind when we're speaking about focusing on things in light is like, this universe that we are in is the universe of polarity. And so everything has its pole. With light, it is darkness. With love, there is hate. With organization, there is disorganization. And so everything has its pole, literally everything. And through the power of our mind, we have the capacity to focus on everything in alignment with its highest timeline, with its positive pole. And so even when challenging situations occur, you know, that's just one side of the pole. And when we're able to recognize this, we're able to transmute it to that highest timeline. And so it's really the process of mastering the mental realms through the mind. And when we look to focus in love in all moments, and it is a practice by all means, that is where the magic really begins to unfold. And I mean, I find, once again, the consciousness of Christ to be the greatest key in all of this. You know, that's what Jesus was doing ultimately. He was focusing on people in pure divine alignment with love. You know, he raised the cripple to his feet. He didn't point at the cripple and say, hey, you're crippled. He said, hey, stand up, you are healed. Focusing on him in pure divine alignment with love. And so I believe also that is the greatest service we can offer to others as well. And a practice with that too. Focusing on others in love, focusing on others in alignment with the highest timeline. Well, not only do we serve others in the process, but we're also assisting our own ascension too, because we are ultimately all one.
I love how you describe polarity. Duality, I think, is another way to say it. I've got to mention, I've got an opposite, and I've known this forever. I've never said this on the show. Hopefully nobody ever picks up on this, but it's, and don't check him out. He's good where he is. Everyone's good where they are. I wouldn't want to change anybody's thinking, their path, what they think they should be doing. Everyone's doing the best they can, consciousness level. Although, you know, if we were judging, you could be like, well, hey, that's not that great of a job. But so it's a Michael W. Ford, literally witchcraft or warlock, or the W is probably for that. I'm Michael A. Ford, Michael Andre Ford. I would argue A for angels, attention, awareness. What am I skipping? Yeah, appreciation. How about that? So I literally have an opposite. And I had to
That's
share.
so interesting.
Yeah, and there's Tron Legacy, the movie with Jeff Bridges. Now, he was in the original one. If anybody likes a good Disney film that I think is totally spiritual, but hidden, it's kind of like Peaceful Warrior gymnastics film that you wouldn't know, or Karate Kid. Peaceful Warrior is an adult Karate Kid film, but Tron Legacy has that duality thing where at the very, I don't want to blow the end of the movie, but the point is, you know, the opposite thing, exactly, the polarity that you talked about. Can you give us a bit of just a pep talk, how simple this is? Only thinking something in all our complexity up here is the only block. You're already there is how I try to say it. But Elle, I know you're incredible with words, so I love hearing how you talk about this stuff. So how are we already there?
So all is now. And as we are awakening to 5D, we are awakening to the realms beyond time. And so all becomes now, past, present, future, and parallel, all plays out from the point of now, with these simultaneous timelines playing out from the point of now. And so a huge key in moving into 5D is through the present moment. And so in many ways, our chakras are already aligned, our Kundalini is already fully risen, our Merkaba light body already fully realized. It's just a matter of how much of who we truly are we allowing us to realize. And the same goes with the kingdoms of New Earth. They are already here. You know, Jesus even said that the kingdoms of earth are spread out upon the earth, but people do not see them. It's because all is now. And so that's how I would put that into words. And, you know, that is such a powerful topic, because when it comes to what you want to manifest, whether that be a new lover, a soulmate, a new job, greater abundance, like, it is already here, it is already now. It's just a matter of how much are you allowing yourself to realize of who you already are.
In a little bit, I'll put his photo up. I think it was the Latvian Estonian. I forgot her background, but she's probably got two. Yeah, she's probably got 2 PhDs by now, and she's 30 or 32. But I think she drew that when she was 14. She was in her artwork was in the Heaven is for Real movie with Greg Kinnear. So, you know, obviously check her out, and her channel or her artwork and stuff like that. Famous artist. I'm just a blank always on all the lingo.
She's awesome. Yeah.
I'd love to blow you some sage to Barcelona from Texas. And then I'd love to put a couple angel photos in light energy form up. We've done this before, but they could give you a little prompt. And then the prompt will get you going in a certain direction, topically speaking. First, I'll just blow some sage with your permission. Anyone at home, there's a million ways to feel the sage. You can put your palm out, you can smell it. Some people who are hyper intuitive will start to taste it when I start lighting it. But give yourself a break. Don't try. Don't make me do the Yoda voice again. I'm going to light this. And if you need help, I only have one bit of ruler structure, which I'm going to look like an idiot for not remembering after 12 years what it is. Ask the universe angels to make it nice. Like, hey, make it nice. Get me out of my head, into my heart. Help me smell the sage in Timbuktu, Brazil. It's 2028. You only got to our video now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, and comment, please. If it's 2028 and you really are only seeing it then, okay, hello. Here's that sage. I'm lighting it. Start tasting it, feeling it. But why settle for the linear? I think Ellen's really hitting on this. It's bigger than even just the linear. You could smell flowers, have ocean smell come your way, the Seychelles, Tulum, Barcelona beach. But since you're there, you've got to get a different ocean from somewhere else. South Africa, Cape Town, catch a little wind in the air. It's always windy. Okay, so I'm going to blow on it. Catch what you can catch. If you need to shut your eyes, shut your eyes. It's you and the universe with no barriers. And by barriers, I just mean a little bit of thinking something is a block to anything you actually want to experience. Just get out of your head. Okay, so here's that sage smoke. And Elle, what are you getting in good old Barcelona, Spain? Are you getting sage plus flower, sage plus ocean?
I'm getting the sage for sure.
Cool. I'll blow through the microphone, but it's really angels, blame, you know, the galaxy, cosmos. Catch, if you want to close your eyes, catch a little sparkle in your nose and some ocean breeze. Get a little action on that nose. A little. My microphone's down here, by the way. Could you feel a little something?
I can smell.
Okay, good enough. I'm going to stub this out and we're good. But I'll put up Joy's photo and angel, the very first angel at this end that people meet. It's all direct. You just do your own listening. And I would argue that our inner voice, the good inner voice, the inner voice that helps you out this whole time, it would freak you out if it was your uncle who was passed over, your grandmother, great-grandfather, or an angel, or Einstein, or Carl Jung. You would freak out if you actually heard their voice. So it's just easier to get stuff done if they come in gently and it sounds like you, or it's your higher self talking to you. Maybe we can get a topic from Joy on what to roll with here. And if you could just let us know that you feel her connection and which way you're feeling it.
So I feel an expansion in the heart.
And what does she have for a topic or two that you can pick up on?
So I'm showing the rainbow light, actually. The rainbow light is here to assist in awakening the Kundalini wisdom, particularly powerful when harmonized with the crystalline ray of light or diamond ray of light. Get the diamond rainbow light. Here to assist in elevating human consciousness and anchoring the codes of the new universal consciousness that is crystalline.
And you talked about this. If people want to go jump over to the APL Spotlight series, you are probably our most recent guest. Maybe episode 8 or so, I'm guessing here, maybe a month ago or so. I'm going to guess maybe April of 2024, if this is way in the future. But you talked about the crystalline light being, if it's rainbow light, crystalline light, or Christ consciousness even, might have been another way to say it. You'll define that in just a little bit. But you did a really good job of describing it. There's an expression I've lived with for 10 years for something I do for folks, but if you asked me to define it, explain it, I mean, I couldn't. I just help people listen, feel, and hear and see, but it's activating the rainbow light body. Can you explain that a little, what that means?
Activating the rainbow light body.
Yeah, if that isn't an expression that's too far out, how, I'll just call it opening up, helping people open up and connect directly to the universe, universal flows. How do you describe that whole process? Like, what's actually happening?
Integrating the higher dimensional realms. And so, I mean, the rainbow light body, this is something that's often referenced in Buddhism, but it is also something that can assist the Kundalini rising. I specialize mostly in the crystalline light body, crystalline macabre light body, and this can have many different expressions. And the different rays of light, they often come with us on our soul path and soul journey. And so some may resonate deeply with the crystalline ray of light. Others may resonate with the diamond ray of light. Others may resonate with the sapphire ray of light. Others, the emerald. And so these different crystalline rays, they have gifts to assist us in awakening different aspects of us. And I mean, when it comes to the rainbow, I prefer to work with the crystalline rainbow templates.
This is going to be sharing probably too much today on the show, but Joy, when I was a little kid in Washington, D.C., I should say a baby, probably age 1.5 to 4, somewhere in there, wherever you could have memories. I remember her as ruby light, like the most incredible, joyous, but a deep, like a burgundy in a glass up against the light, very, a darker red, but very joyous. And just that ruby description is the best I can do. If you want, could you get a last reminder about anything from Joy to talk to us about?
So I'm feeling a lot of heart energy, a lot of activation around the heart. And what I'm hearing is it's important for humanity to really just allow themselves to move into their heart and cultivating a daily practice. This is a great way to start the day of tuning into the rhythm of the heart beating in the chest. It doesn't take long. Just bringing the awareness there really assists in raising the Kundalini up into the heart chakra. And as you begin to tune into the heart, living from the heart becomes second nature.
I've got 2 more angels for you, Jesus, and then we'll go in any other directions you want. But here's Charlotte, an angel with a background from Orion. She's everybody's favorite school teacher from 3rd form, but if you're in the United States, I'll say 3rd grade. Mrs. Johansson, the one who didn't get you in trouble. Think of the nice teacher that influenced you. Charlotte's always got words of wisdom meant to help you expand. If you like ancient Egypt, start smelling an ancient Egyptian incense that rocks your world. It's not available in any store today. She'll bring it interdimensionally from the good old days. And what are you getting from Charlotte? Are you getting that incense by chance?
Yeah.
And she'll have a great topic for you that's right up your alley.
So I'm getting a lot of Pleiadian energy from Charlotte. And what I'm seeing is, hearing and feeling is Pleiades, the ancient star mothers of humanity. They're here to assist in awakening this next level of human evolution, where the star mothers that seeded us here upon the planet. And so our DNA, it traces all the way back to the Pleiades. Before we were human, we were Pleiadian. And so awakening this remembrance of our cosmic star mothers can be incredibly activating for these times, where it can even bring to surface memories of when we have ascended before, because the Pleiadians, they ascended in the same way that we are ascending as a human species now. And so they offer a beacon of light for these times.
I'm going to do the second grade, second form thing. So forgive me for this, but I'm still learning here. I mean, I've been learning for 12 or 13 years, and I've needed a baseball bat at times, like 12 to 13 years ago, especially from her. Tough taskmaster back in the day, but to get me to pay attention and so on. So I'm still figuring things out. A lot of angels are sharing their now more galactic backgrounds, which is not a surprise, I guess, but it's been a 12 long year, you know, to get to this point. So I wanted to mention Pleiadians for a second. They're light, they're within us and around us, interdimensional, but they can show up in full human form. I know that for a fact now. How do you describe like Pleiadians, Andromedans, Orion, people with an Orion background? I don't know how to say it. And she says she's got an Orion background. How do we handle this from like a societal perspective? It's a lot to grasp, but there's such a big talk today about UAP, UFO disclosure, technology, aliens. That's not really where the game is at, though, is it? It's more about here and consciousness expansion, is it not?
Yeah. Well, it is definitely a topic to really practice discernment with, even with the Pleiadians. And the Pleiadians are probably a really good place to start as in teachers for the importance to practice discernment, because you have the galactic beings who have ascended beyond the digital technology. They work purely in the technology of consciousness. And then you've got the galactic beings who are in the lower, lower, like fourth dimension, or fifth dimension, or octaves. The ascended galactics are in the higher dimensional, fifth dimensional octaves and beyond. And so it's important to really practice discernment here. Something that's happening on the planet at this time is you have the digital galactic beings appearing and trying to interact with humanity, and they get humanity focusing external, whereas the organic ascended galactic beings, they guide humanity inwards in the full body ascension process and awakening the Merkaba light body. And so it is really important to practice discernment. And I guess one of the easiest ways to do so is asking yourself, when you come into contact with the source of the galactic being, is, are they guiding you externally, or are they guiding you internally? Are they guiding you to be reliant on the external world, or are they guiding you to be self-sufficient and walk the path of organic ascension, full body ascension process? Are they taking you away from God, or are they guiding you home inwards to God?
And there's always been a bit of a, I hate to put it this way, to judge it in any way, but there's always been a tug of war, ebb and flow in humanity, in all the different cultures and all the different eons, or at least centuries. And we're probably seeing it a little bit in terms of information flow these days, the push towards control, censorship in all these countries, and all these new ways that are, quote, for our protection and benefit. Without getting too much focus, because where you put your focus is where you put your focus. It's the control of how you flow your energy and what you focus on that is so liberating. So without getting too much focus on the negative or the less than fun, how do you describe, is there a higher pitch going on that just means there's a broader opening coming?
So the way I describe it is, this planet is being flooded with great light. You've got the astrological cycles, you've got the great year cycle, which is a 25,800 year cycle. And then there's the galactic year cycle, which is a 250 million year cycle, which is a gigantic cycle. But because of where we are astrologically within the universe, the great light is flooding the planet. And this light cannot be stopped. It's only going to intensify. And so all the darkness that was once hiding is coming to the surface to be purged from the planet. And so with this is the great revealing. All that was hidden is coming into sight. And so with this, you know, so much is speeding up, like time is speeding up. I don't know if you've been experiencing it, but it is like time is flying by. Have you been finding that recently?
Yes, no, and maybe. It depends on when. When I get into the flow, time, my days are evaporating. I'm reaching out to a lot of folks.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like time is speeding up. And with this, events in Earth are also speeding up. And that speeding up process is actually the process of moving into 5D, where it speeds up to such a degree, it all becomes now. And so it is by all means an integration process. And depending on where one is vibing, depends on like how they are experiencing time. You know, Einstein, he said time is relative, which I think is one of his great theories, is so very relevant for this ascension process too. Time is relevant.
I like to also make time your relative. So here's Einstein, and we'll do Jesus next, and then we'll play a little after that. What are you getting from Einstein as a reminder for everyone watching?
The importance of mathematics and equations to stay grounded in reality whilst awakening to the multidimensional. So very important to keep 2 feet on the ground.
And he said, yeah, the quote I've been getting from him the last few days has been, the only source of knowledge is experience. So just allow, be here and watch what happens. If you need baby steps, ask for it during dream time to come to you. Just all you have to do is ask the universe to come in and ease you into the bathtub, the pool, whatever it is. If it's a pool party, an hour later, I still might not be in the pool. I might only be up to ankle or knee deep. I'm not always just jumping in. I'm going to put Jesus's drawing up as promised, and give me 1 second to find it. Here we go. And if anybody wants to put their palm out and feel the flow on their skin, their palm, their whole body too, if you want. It's an iPhone, my computer, your computer. So it's 3 screens. We all scream for a lot of love, consciousness, and ice cream here. And he's got a great sense of humor. So get something just humorous to lighten you up and realize this isn't as big of a deal as the brain's going to make it. You're already there. Relax and breathe. What are you getting, Elle, for all of us?
So I'm going to speak in 2 languages here, the English language and also light language too. It's okay with you, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. Whew. So what I am receiving is King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Hosanna in the highest, Yeshua Empire, Sialatuma Omaha, Kialatume Omeka, Alasuma Omaha. The new universe, all consciousness is returning, is grounding upon the earth through the wisdom of the crystalline frequency and awakening to Christ within. This process becomes so much easier.
Beautiful. With your permission, I'll put my hand up to the screen. You do the same, but it's only our highest intent. None of my bill paying, stressing, fear. What am I missing? Rejection, worry, reacting, all that stuff that we do up here. That's welcome to being human. But if you did just 7% less, like less thinking a day, to quote Charlotte, everybody would walk a smoother path. That's it. 7% less thinking a day. Or we could flip that. 7% more here a day is your opportunity for growth and expansion. That's it. It's none of this like you have to go to Tibet. You have to go to the ashram for 10 years. You have to chant. You got to buy these 30 books and go to 16 different institutes. It's actually within, and just allowing that much more for anybody that feels like this is some Herculean task. I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and so on, who said that it felt like for her at one point, she was quoted saying this, it felt like she was being asked to swallow the sun. And I get it. That's what it does feel like, is it feels just so beyond your grasp to let go and to be here. And it's a lot. You can feel huge flows of love. It can be a shock to your system. But with that, can you give us a reminder how simple again it is? I know you already did it before, but how simple again is it, Elle?
It's as simple as you allow it to be.
Nice answer. I like it. Okay, so I'll put my hand up, only my highest intent, but same thing for you. We'll connect through two screens from Texas to Barcelona. And if you can just let me know, what are you feeling when you got it? And then I'll whoosh you rainbow light with this hand, but blame angels. It'll be angels and the cosmos and universe love rainbow light your way. Actually, it's whooshing rainbow light. Do you feel my flow, my energy, my vibe, or angels through two
I
screens?
felt tingling in my hands.
Good. Okay, I'll do it 3 times. The first time, sandbag and keep the volume low and just feel what you can feel. Same thing at home. Put both hands up if you want at home. It doesn't matter. Yeah, either way. But here comes the first one, and just feel rainbow light going up the old Kundalini Express there. And did you get that one okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we turn the volume up a little. And a little more rainbow light. There you go. And could you feel a little more on that? The third one, it's go big, go home. Technically, you're kind of already home, so let's just go big. This one, if you smoke cigarettes, you quit cigarettes 20 years ago, think of the pack in the drawer. I'm kidding on this, but you get to light a cigarette afterwards. Put something out there at home if you're stressed out, though. You're thinking about this too much, that. Remember, that's not the way it works. We'll do an Einstein quote before I do this. The consciousness that says my problem is, my situation is, and it's not exactly how he said this, is not the same level of consciousness or opening of consciousness that allows you to move past the situation. You only know this when you look back 20 years ago at the divorce, the job loss, and you're like, oh, it makes sense now. So my point on this is we stay connected here, turn the volume up, allow what you can feel. But some people yawn, get teary-eyed, release, don't send it my way, don't send it to L's direction, send it out into the sky, the universe, release what you can release. And here it comes. I'll blow through the microphone though and catch a Hawaiian wind. And was that bigger?
Yeah, well, I actually saw a wave in front of you. I don't know if it got caught on camera, but
That's awesome. Oh, and of course, I did it out of order. I was supposed to show you light first, which you've seen it. This is from Celestine Prophecy, the movie. But I'll just mention that in the movie, they do it this way. In India, they do it this way. It's no big shakes, but just I'll show my energy. It's just light, the force from Star Wars. It'll be blue, green, gold, rainbow, whatever it is. If it's rainbow, though, everyone run out and buy a lotto ticket. Write the last chapter of your memoir that you've been holding off on for 5 years. And what are you seeing between my fingers, Elle?
so I'm seeing like a purpley blue indigo color.
Yay. I'm not crazy. You're not crazy. Anybody at home wants to do it. Blue sky is #1. Shut off TV, dark sweatshirt. But if you're just cocky, confident, or you're already a 40-year veteran healer, anything's good. See it on the background of your dog's light, the trees, even the fridge can have light on it. Everything's got consciousness. So what will you allow for? Can you give us a last reminder? You've been all over. I mean, can you share with us like your experiences or an experience in India, for example?
Wow. Yeah, I have so many stories in India. I guess one of the most exciting ones was one of the last encounters I had when I was there in 2019. I was traveling in Nepal, in the Nepali Himalayas, actually. I'd been in Dharamsala, which is home of the Dalai Lama, for several months prior. But the monsoon seasons, they come in the Himalayas, and I was like, I want to stay longer. I've got like a couple of weeks before I have to go back to Europe, but I had to leave India because my visa expired. And I went to Nepal, and because the monsoon is all over Nepal, I got a map out, and I was like, okay, I've got to go here. And it was the only place in the Himalayas that didn't have the monsoon. So there's a place called Kagbini in Upper Mustang, Mukshinath also. And I went there and I spent a couple of weeks there traveling around the area, and I was supposed to go back down the mountain, but I felt this internal guidance system saying, no, you've got to stay a little bit longer, you've got to go back to Kagbini. And I went back to Kagbini for a couple of days, and I think it was my final day, I met a guru there, very synchronistic, and he gave me Kundalini Kriyas for levitation And it was a mystical encounter that changed my life. Like, these practices have really been a huge part of my practice. And I've developed my own careers inspired by the keys that he gave to me, and then also things I've learned in the astral realms, which build upon them. And so that was a pretty epic encounter that I had through following the intuition and internal guidance system.
Okay, I've got a quote for everybody. I'm going to buy time though while I find it. I bought a house in Austin, Texas, maybe in 2007. I knew I wanted to leave New York. I was like Kurt Russell with an eye patch, escape from New York. I'm going to remind folks, it's hard to leave what you think your perceived situation is. You know, it could be relationships. You're in a big city, in a big job, making decent dollars. How are you going to handle all that? You know, it's scary to leave what you know, I guess, is what I'm saying. And yet that's exactly what life often presents to you through a health crisis, divorce, job layoff. That's what happened to me. 72 of us got 1 hour's notice on the third round of stealth layoffs at a $1 billion law firm. I was making probably $250,000 a year, public relations. I was happy as a pig in mud. I probably booked 1,100 media interviews in a single year, and I had outside agencies and so on. But I was the only one excited. I'd already bought the home in Texas. I wanted a change. I wanted more trees. And again, life has a way of helping you stay on track if you'll simply allow for life to do its thing. Get out of here, get to here. So when I got to that house, I put up all these quotes that I had found from over the years, sometimes as far back as 1992. We're talking 2007. I'm hanging a piece of paper framed with quotes. Now I hid it behind a laundry room door to my garage, that alleyway in every house to get to the garage. And I kind of hid it so no one would see it. I just knew it was there. And here's one of the quotes. It's from Siddha Katrapa, who might have been 700 BC, Indian guru type. I can't tell you who he is exactly. Whatever the yogin sees is his instruction. In realization that all he sees is unborn, that is the most excellent guru. Innocence is the way to realize non-duality, for here the effects of virtue and vice are one. Can you share with us again how simple it is? And I'm going to go back a third time on this, how everything falls away from your difficulties, your peaks and your valleys, your failures and your accomplishments. It's not about what you think it is, because it's not about thinking. I took a stab at it, but I got to hear it, the patented L. Holmes method of addressing this.
So a quote that comes to mind is, everything is happening for you. And when you realize this and surrender to it, it becomes more like a game. The challenges, they propel you into something greater. They sculpt you into something greater, and they become like a game, and you're able to acknowledge that.
And dream time. Do you often have either visitations, kind of a cool, you're in something, or you're getting reminded of something, or you're getting encouraged to something? Can you describe dream time, how that works for you?
Yeah, for sure. I have so many experiences. I was actually astral traveling today. That doesn't happen every night, but some nights it happens. And yeah, I learn so many things in the astral realms and also the dream realms, where information is given, guidance is given. I see future timelines, future potential timelines. One of my favorite things to do is to learn mystical cities in the astral realms. So that's what I like to do there. Yeah.
Funny curiosity. And I've got to say, so I'm totally like sharing more than I normally share on any show. I've been seeing white light aura on you like off and on the whole show. Second, and I was only going to bring this up after we stopped taping, but and this is to show how slow I am on the uptake. I'm going to sound like I'm a 3-year-old at times, and I'm so sorry to the audience if you've, we've got 152 episodes booked into December of 2024. Whenever you come in on this, Seth Shostak of SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Life, a senior astronomer, is coming on the show. So is Mark Anthony and so on. But for 12 years, I've been seeing geometric light. Like, I don't know how to describe the pattern, almost like a tie-dye geometric pattern, but then radiating extra lines of the same light out on my eyelids, eyes open, eyes closed. I could be in the middle of the shower. And I've never asked what it was. And I didn't ask until the last 3 weeks. I don't know how I didn't ask about this. I trusted it. But so a couple different angels shared, and I'd love for you to talk about this. People can invite it in. I've helped others since then. I'm really good on the delivery of an experience. So You can at home just close your eyes and have a little bit of it, we'll call it galactic coding, connecting to the sacred geometry of the earth, or some of the answers that this is. I'll also call it, if people need kind of a, not a crutch, but just a gentle way to get into the pool on this, archangels just delivering light in a gentle way to smooth you out and kind of integrate you in more with the greater flow, whether it be earth or you like to think cosmos or within, it doesn't matter what the language is. So that's the three ways they describe the light. Can you share with us the geometric patterns of light? I'm sure you've experienced that before, one way or the other, and you have a way to properly discuss this.
So the way I see light is actually, I see it usually as orbs. I see geometry, but I wouldn't describe that as, I suppose you could say it is a form of light. It's like a fractal of light. Usually when I see geometry, I see like specific geometric shapes. You know, the Chladni plate? Yeah, the resonance experiment. So I see like the invisible space like that. That can be a very powerful way to help within the third eye. But usually light, I see in light codes as well. Light codes or orbs. I'm seeing one like right in front of me right now, actually.
That's what I was just going to put up was, do you want to pick door number 1, 2, 3, or 4 for these 4 angels, Min, Joy, Charlotte, or Dale? You can do all 4, but pink, blue, white, or the orangish. Do you have a favorite right now? And we'll do a little something for you.
I do like Charlotte and Joy.
Okay, Charlotte and Joy, and I happen to have them right here.
Me
Okay,
too.
so ask them to make it nice, and you can just look up in the air around you, or you can close your eyes and do it. You could do it both ways, and they'll deliver the goods. Something vibrational and fun and light and visual. Yep. And for at home, you can do this, but if you don't mind me giving a second bit of structure or letting go advice, this isn't a must. I mean, some people yell at me for suggesting breathing through the mouth. They're nose breathers. Breathe through your nose, but if you don't mind, open your mouth 1 millimeter, breathe extra like you're in a yoga class with the instructor yelling at you, breathe, let go a little more, let those shoulders heave. The more you let go, the more you flow, the more everything will glow. And I made it rhyme. It'll show. And now, Elle, we're throwing you under the bus, as the good old American expression goes. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing?
So I'm seeing like orbs in front of me, like big ones.
Yay. Okay. What can you share with us again about, and maybe to wrap this up, just a couple different points on cultivating awareness, that it doesn't have to be some grand escapade. You don't have to like sell the business, move homes, or just head overseas right away, get a passport and start traveling the earth, that it's somehow it's right here. Or can you talk to us about starting on your spiritual journey if you feel like you need a shove out of the nest?
Yeah, for sure. So the best 2 practices that I would invite everybody to cultivate who wants to deepen their connection, source, and expand their consciousness and become more self-aware is meditation. Mindfulness meditation is a great form of meditation. It's listening to the breath, tuning into the breath, but also the rhythm of the heart. Also, I love Vipassana meditation. But for the awareness, mindfulness meditation is really great, also Vipassana. But then there's prayer. Prayer is, by all means, one of the most powerful practices. And so cultivating a daily prayer practice, at least before you go to bed, it's great to do it in the morning as well, morning and night, and really cultivating that relationship with the divine, speaking to God and asking God to upgrade you, asking God to assist you in expanding your consciousness, in becoming more self-aware. You know, that is the great key. Is really simple. It's coming back to that simplicity.
And I love reminding folks, prayer is just words through the heart. It's getting out of thinking and allowing and tapping your own private flow, direct flow, connection to above and love and above, your higher self. And yeah, just flowing love. I like to say it that way. Okay, you're going to get a last 3 random quotes. It could be Eckhart Tolle, straight from an angel. It could be Jesus. We'll get your reaction on these quotes. They're very pious. I don't like that word. They're very fun quotes. And so I'm randomly picking them. Mother Teresa said in 2015, after she passed, to someone who was listening to her, compassion is like a deep breath for many. And that was a reminder that like the deep breath is as close as you're going to get to your heart if you're really busy running around. Plato said in 2015 also, allowing, just being here like we talked about, is the torch to illuminate the cave's exit. Talking about Plato's cave, the metaphor allegory. He said, allowing is the torch to illuminate the cave's exit. This is compassion. Wow. And I'll do one more. Mother Teresa again, 2016. All suffering is universal, not limited to the person experiencing it. Those are pretty deep quotes, but I think I've got exactly the right guest to be able to handle deep, because I feel like you're a professor and you always know what to say. What do you have to say to those, any one of those 3 quotes, all 3, or whatever it propelled you to for us?
I'm feeling the heart expansion again, heart expansion and simplicity, stripping down all that no longer is necessary.
But that's the one thing the brain, the ego, the psyche, our intellect says, no way, Jose, we can't make it simple. I've got to create a new set of problems. I've got to go do this. I've got to go see a doctor or a psychiatrist. I've got to go sue somebody instead of owning what I'm supposed to own.
Yeah, but that is also coming from humans living in the solar plexus. As we move into the heart and we develop brain and heart cohesion, you know, it's in our human nature to live from the heart and to meet others in love. And there are many humans doing this on the planet right now, and more so. It is really beautiful to witness the Great Awakening and how people are changing. People are becoming more compassionate. People are becoming more open, more conscious, for sure.
And would you argue that how do I say this? When you're connected to all there is, your higher self, your soul, your eyes sparkle even a little more. It doesn't mean you're not going to have your bad day 2 Tuesdays from now and be shut tight like an oyster. But have you also noticed just, I mean, it goes hand in hand, part and parcel with what you were talking about. Higher vibrations in people and even sparkly eyes that you're kind of like, whoa, what am I looking at?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You can tell as well, like when you're out and about in the city or on the street, if you pass somebody who is also conscious, you may feel their energy before. So something I've noticed as the years have gone on, I actually feel people's energy and we lock eyes. Sometimes we may even speak. But yeah, for sure, people's eyes are more open when they've gone through an awakening. And also with meditation, I've noticed the more I meditate and also connecting with really deep meditators too, is the eyes are more bright. There's a lot of light in the eyes.
I love it. Okay, the schoolofcreation.com is your primary website. The details are going to be below the video as usual. Please, folks, share what you've enjoyed about this, what you've experienced. I've got people on my regular YouTube, what do you call it, videos saying they smelled lavender, wisteria, the smoke on their own through 2 screens. Doesn't even matter if it's 2 months after I made the video. So share what you can share, or just what you enjoyed from Elle. Even a few words counts, because what you're doing is helping us get these videos out to other people who have yet to discover that they even exist. We've got very bold guests who've done bold moves on their own, come on the show. And I think it's very bold to do any steps on the show, as well as just, the guts it takes to share, one's personal experiences with the audience out there. So Ellen Holmes, thank you so much for coming on Angels, Positivity, and Love. Do you have a last reminder, just something? Can you give us a mantra from your personal experience, time in India and all these other places? What's a beautiful mantra that you would love to leave us with?
Oh, mantra, like a tone.
Like a saying, like allow more, love more.
Aha. Ascension is an inward process of coming home to love within.
Perfect.
Coming home to who you truly are. at your core.
I love it. Elle, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, Michael. It's been beautiful.